Ditch, canyon, scar, eyesore, commerce. Whatever you call it, there is no doubt that Interstate 5 and the rest of the national freeway network has had a profound impact on our country. Nowhere is that impact more noticeable, though, than our urban neighborhoods where these freeways cut through. When I-5 was built in the 1960s, it took up 1 to 2 blocks width of our downtown neighborhoods and created a very significant and physical division between our neighborhoods. Between First Hill and downtown, between Capitol Hill and South Lake Union, we now have a large multi-lane freeway that generates a lot of noise and pollution and is frankly quite unaesthetically pleasing to people who live and work around it. But the way the freeway was built actually presents an opportunity. The topographical situation, roughly from Olive Way to Madison Street, has the freeway running in a ditch, and traditionally, cities have looked upon this as a way to provide new airspace opportunities. We've done this previously in Seattle. 10 years after I-5 was built, Freeway Park came in with the leadership of civic leaders like Jim Ellis and other people in the region that connect First Hill back to downtown with a nice pedestrian realm. Over time, of course, Freeway Park has been slowly expanded to with additional development around it. And of course, also the Washington State Convention Center became its new neighbor. And the Washington State Department of Transportation has been active in building lids more recently as well. When I-90 was built over Mercer Island, a half-mile lid, Aubrey Davis Park, was built on the west end of the island along with landscaping and sound buffers, and the Mount Baker lid down in the Mount Baker neighborhood of Seattle was also built to help mitigate the effects of the freeway there. Even more recently, with the Highway 520 rebuild, WashDOT built 3 lids in the east side neighborhoods of Medina and Hunts Point to help mitigate some of the effects of the freeway there, and those primarily service parks and transportation spaces. On the west side of the 520 bridge, when that gets extended, we'll also have new lids in the Roanoke and Montlake neighborhoods. So why downtown and why now? Currently, downtown has a lack of about 10 acres of park space, according to our comprehensive plan standards. Going forward over the next 20 years, with population and employment growth, that deficit will only increase to 40 acres if we don't do anything. And we've tried to solve this problem before. Back in the 1990s, some of you may recall the Paul Allen idea for the Seattle Commons, and the idea to have a large park stretching from Lake Union all the way to Denny Way. A component of that project required some public funding, and the public voted that down, and of course that's where the Amazon campus is today. But we have a significant opportunity still. The amount of airspace over I-5 in our downtown region is about the same size of the Seattle Commons proposal, and coincidentally, it's in our highest density neighborhoods. Another stimulus for development in this area is, of course, the Washington State Convention Center expansion over the King County bus station that will soon be closing. We also have a couple of small parks, Plymouth Pillars Park and Green there, adjacent to the freeway that could be expanded in the future. Other cities across the country have faced the same challenges that Seattle does, and they've responded in the same way. Here's a smattering of examples from cities in different climates and cultures that have responded in similar ways by bridging over their freeways for parks and open space. Probably the gold standard for this type of project is, in all places, Dallas, Texas. They built the 5-acre park back in 2012 for about $110 million. It is managed by a nonprofit entity but owned by the city, and they did things that are innovative that activate the park and keep it well used all year round, such as building a restaurant into it, including a variety of family-friendly amenities like playgrounds and dog runs, etc. The most ambitious lid park proposal in the United States is in Hollywood, California. The Los Angeles Metro has a significant lack of park space like we do, and they're primarily building this 1-mile lid over Highway 101 as a public health benefit. The park is currently going through environmental design, and they plan to begin construction within the next year, so that's something to keep an eye on how they manage that. The Lit I-5 campaign kicked off our public involvement in full force earlier this month with a large charrette that drew about 100 people to the 12th Avenue Arts, thanks to our partnership with Capitol Hill Housing. We had people very excited and talking about all kinds of ideas for what should go on the lid, ranging from parks to affordable housing to an amphitheater outside the Paramount, to including a downtown elementary school. Ultimately, our plan is for the near future to host more of these charrettes that we hope you guys can get involved with. And eventually, our long-term goal is to build a grassroots coalition of housing advocates, parks advocates, school advocates, and all others to help convince the city council and ultimately the mayor's office that this is a vision worth pursuing. It's going to be an uphill battle, and we're going to have to involve the State Transportation Agency eventually. And of course, if we don't build lids within the next 5 to 10 years, I-5 itself will have to be rebuilt as well, since it's only 10 to 15 years younger than the viaduct, and we can see what condition that's in. So we hope you guys can participate and join us, and I look forward to talking to you one-on-one. Thank you.